Shalom. My name is Bobby, the pastor of Lighthouse Church and online ministry. Shalom is a Hebrew word that literally means peace, but it also has a deeper understanding that comes with it, which is the deeper concepts of wholeness, completeness, well-being, and harmony. And it also means that when the Hebrews would say shalom to each other, they were telling each other, peace be with you, and that I hope you have the peace of the Lord with you. In today's video, I want to have a discussion about the peace of the Lord. And I want to do this because of this. It is so easy living in this world, especially now, to be anxious and to be scared. I mean, truth is we don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, heck, tomorrow a giant meteor could come out of the sky and, destroy the whole earth. Or, some giant ancient lizard could climb out of the world and just start eating people. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. But for us who are followers of Jesus Christ, we can have the peace of the Lord in our life. We can have true inner peace because we are one with God, because we are in harmony with Jesus Christ. And so, knowing that is the only way that will truly heal our anxieties and our fear. I've said before, but I work at a homeless shelter, and we are at a point where the truth is we got a lot of pay cuts, or a lot of funding cut, and we don't know what's going to happen. And there's a lot of people there right now that's scared. And there are times and days that I'm scared because I don't know if I'll wake up in the morning and my job will be gone. And then God and His wonders and His brilliance will usually hit me with a spiritual 4x4 and tell me stop being dumb and just know and live in the tranquility of the peace of the Lord. And so, like I said, let's start looking at the peace of the Lord. Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus." Now, I think this is important because firstly, we see that the peace of the Lord, the peace of God, comes from God Himself. This is not some sort of earthly peace. This is a supernatural peace that will calm us and soothe us when we are anxious, when we are afraid. The peace of God surpasses all understanding. What that means is this: there are times where we are trapped between a wall and lions out to get us. And in our mind, we don't know how we are going to to get through this. I mean, I know that every single one of us has felt this at one point. Every single one of us knows that, has felt a point where they're just like, I can't go on. And then God comes around and just gives us peace. Peace that we don't know how it's going to get better, but we just know it will. This is the peace that Philippians is talking about. A peace that surpasses all understanding. A peace that we know that God has our back. Even if this situation ends badly, God will use it to glorify Himself. That is true peace. And again, I think it's important that we understand that this peace comes from God Himself. It doesn't come from money. It doesn't come from power. It doesn't come from our loved ones. It comes from God. And I think that's important because so many times we think, if I had more money, if I had more loved ones, I'd be more at peace. And truth is that's not true. The only peace that will truly allow us to be at peace is the peace that comes from God Himself. Second Thessalonians 3:16 says, now may the Lord of peace Himself give you peace at all times and in every way. This is what we need to pray. We need to pray that the peace of the Lord, the peace of Jesus Christ, will come to us at all times and in every way. That way, when we are feeling like we are trapped between lions and a wall, we will still be at peace. There are great examples of this from the Bible. But, the ones I think of the most is Daniel in the lion's den. Even when Daniel is thrown in the pit or the den with lions, he is still at peace. And God still protects him. That is the type of peace we should be praying for. John 14:27 says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. This peace is not the peace that the world gives us, because that peace, the peace the world gives us, will go away quickly. But the peace of the Lord will stay with us. So, how do we experience this? How do we get the peace of the Lord? Well, first we turn to God. We acknowledge that we need His peace, and we turn to Him. We are basically surrendering everything to Him and saying, Lord, use my life as yours and give me that peace. Like I said, there are times that because of what's going on at my work, I'm afraid that at some point I might lose my job. But I also know that Jesus has me, and so I don't need to worry. And that peace overflows through those fears that I have. And it's because long time ago, I turned over that stuff to God, saying that I'm surrendering it all to you. Use my life as yours. And so I do have a peace that, whatever happens, God got me. And then, if we turn over to God, we start cultivating our faith. We need to have faith that God will help us, that God will give us that peace no matter what. We understand that we have faith in the most powerful being in the universe. And so through that faith, it will bring us peace. And then we start developing a lifestyle of prayer. Not just prayer where we are asking for things, where we are just have a list to Santa Claus and give me a red fire truck, give me a convertible, give me this. But we are in communication with God at all times. We are allowing God to be a part of our lives. More importantly, we are allowing God to have our life. And we are thanking Him for everything He has already done for us. If we turn our life over to God, if we develop our faith, if we develop a lifestyle of prayer, and if we just try to love God in a deeper way more tomorrow than we do today, His peace will overflow through us. Like I said, right now in this world, there's a lot of fear and anxiety. And I understand that. I struggle with anxiety. But I also know that the peace of the Lord is the only thing that can help me. Philippians 4:7 again says this, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guide your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." I pray that the peace of the Lord will be with you, and that it will heal you from any anxiety and fear you have. Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Thank you.